Episode 22, Tournament Arc. Greed alighted in the party's eyes as they heard the news. Flameforged weapons were legendary. Fenrir snatched up one of the flyers. "Where's this tournament supposed to take place?" he asked.
"Do you need help?"
asked Aerith. The mousy woman poked her nose into their circle.
"Where does Master Magnus live?"
asked Guinevere.
"Oh, I would be happy to show you, but I want a favor."
"What?" asked Fenrir, as the little woman stared up at him.
"Front row seats, Captain. This is going to generate the best gossip, after all."
The mousy woman guided them along the moat and up a small hill. At its top, a circle of stone made a patio. Smoke rose from two chimneys, the forge outside and the stove inside. A crowd gathered there. Boisterous laughter and exuberant chatter filled the air. A hush came as the door to the hut opened, and a gnarled old man walked out. "You all gathered here today to sign up to fight for the privilege of holding my steel. Those who aren't here for that need to get," the old man bellowed, spittle flinging from crooked teeth. Fenrir spoke up, offering his aid in curtailing the crowd. He was told to shut up. "We'll be starting with a simple melee, and I'll pick the good fighters out there and make a bracket for duels. Now sign up or get." Chatter picked up as people hustled towards the shack. A loud crack is heard over the commotion, and a woman pushed her way away from the smith's home, a growing welt on her head. Fenrir noted the man in front of him in the crowd. He bared the dress of a guard. "Hello, I'm Fenrir." "Menace, Captain," the guard turned to reply. His eyes were dark, and scars covered his face. "This Magnus, he good smith?" "The greatest. Flameforged has great variance in quality. Magnus's son and grandson are only just capable of tapping the potential of the metal. One of Magnus's blades is next to indestructible, sharpened to perfection. Tips so fine as to slip between and break chain links. But he forges so few now." "I see." They continued for a good while. Fenrir set his hound to go find Medea, as he was thoroughly convinced it would be worth her time to attempt to gain the blade. Guinevere became restless as they waited. Slowly, a large number of people were chased away by the old man. The rest form a loose, winding line. Fenrir and Elida size up the remaining crowd. A few stand out. Octavius, High Lady Visenia's jealous butler, stood at the halfway point in the line. A blonde woman jumping excitedly in place, her long blonde hair bouncing before them. Manus seemed a capable man, his hands strong and his face showing evidence of his experience. A stunning woman with wild red hair moved with grace and confidence toward the back of the line. And on the other hand, a man with hideous scarring across his already ugly face sharpened his long-handled axe towards the front of the line. Tor, Fenrir's apprentice, pointed at the blonde.
"She got a black heart, she does."
Somehow, the boy had managed to acquire a demon's eye. Its power granted him the ability to see the witch's blood pulsing through the heart of the woman. The blonde was a witch.
"Fenrir!"
Medea exclaimed as she rushed up to him. She embraced him. "Medea, do you think this is a grand opportunity to gain Flameforged steel?"
"A wonderful opportunity for you."
"You should join as well."
"I have no need for a blade, nor could I compete."
"Ah, but this is a priceless blade. Think of the resale."
I don't." I wish to see how the Thuluzu do battle. I am sure that you must know your way around violence when your people have no men to defend your caravans. You want to see me fight? I would cheer you with every raindrop of my blood. Oh, okay.
Guinevere, finally standing before the table, signed up. As she does, she spotted the name Sevrix, a northerner name. This piqued her curiosity, but her untapped energy drew her away. Fenrir leaned over the table, catching the attention of Magnus. The old man was hunched, with frail legs and huge arms. His head half bald, his gnarled staff clutched in his grisly hands. A small trickle of blood made its way down the staff's length. His beard fell down to his hips. Hello, I'm Fenrir. You seem to need a bit more security to avoid earlier events. I could set up guards to limit number of people here. We could charge admissions. If I wanted money, I would have it. But I'll pay you to keep 'em out. All of them, said the smith. At least a scribe, Master Magnus. Do you not wish for this grand event to be recorded and remembered forever? No. Would this event not help your sons? More so if those within the city had a glorious telling of events. Don't want peepers. Won't hear otherwise. Fenrir shrugged and signed up. Raphael, Medea, and Elidas followed suit. Raphael, suffering from intense stomach pains, is aided by Elidas to the butcher to buy some pig's blood in an attempt to aid the issue. It does little. Fenrir returned to the ruins to oversee the cleanup. While there, he tried to train Tor, but the boy is overwhelmed by wonder and goes exploring. He is later found after getting hurt. The sun reached its apex and descended a portion before a man approached Fenrir. Captain Fenrir. Yes, said Fenrir. It has come to my attention that you were aiding in the murder investigations. Yes, and you are? Brian. Another man is dead. Decapitated. It seems our murderer is getting better. How did you know it's same one? The dead man nicked her cloak with a blade. The man presented the torn fabric. Knowing it was a witch he was after, Fenrir looked into the one just presented to him. As such, at the base of Magnus's hill, Fenrir used the powers granted him by the High Lord and Magnus himself to do an illegal weapons search. He found a few daggers, hidden clothes, and an explosive sack. The blonde woman Tor recognized as a witch entered. She grinned and swayed. Fenrir watched Samwise as the dog sniffed the woman. The dog seemed unresponsive. The woman's smile waned. Aren't you going to do a thorough search? She leaned in, wiggling. Fenrir ignored her suggestiveness. We are aware of your witchcraft. I assume you know to refrain from utilizing it during the tournament. Oh, you know, she hummed happily. I'm Sevrix, by the way. And you are? Fenrir. Now, get out. I have others to question. She huffed and looked disappointed before leaving. The melee began. All those who signed up are set against each other, after being split into 4 groups. Magnus took a count and judged who performed better than whom. Sevrix seemed to thoroughly enjoy the conflict, giggling and grinning at every blow. Octavius swept aside those who opposed him. Guinevere proved her stalwart nature. Fenrir his ferocity and devastating counterstrikes. Elidas his ranged purity. Raphael and Medea barely made the cut over Manus. With the melee complete, the duels shall begin tomorrow. As the party descended from Magnus's home, the guard, Brian, approached, bearing harsh news. A family of 5 was slain but for their daughter. The girl was found amongst the blood and mutilated corpses of her family. As the sun set, long shadows stretched out of the hovel, dancing in the light of flame. Guards surrounded the building and let the party through. The walls were covered in blood. A young woman rocked back and forth in a far corner, eyes wide. Something about her is familiar to Fenrir. When Tor saw her, he nudged Fenrir's leg, nodding towards her. Fenrir asked her what the culprit looked like.
A great shadow loomed in the doorway. Then...
She panicked and attempted to flee, but Guinevere caught her, trying to calm her down. And slowly she did. Not much else was learned from the girl, and the party left the home in the dark. Fenrir supplied his dog with the scrap of cloak taken from the witch earlier.
All right, boy.
The dog
go find
sniffed
her.
the tattered
that
remnant.
witch.
Fenrir encouraged his dog, Samwise. The dog laid its nose to the ground and sniffed his way outside, where he walked around the house and found Guinevere. He sat and barked proudly. Guinevere looked down at the dog with horror as Fenrir apologized, treated the dog, and got the dog to keep going. This time, Samwise led Fenrir to a different home. He knocked. A woman with an angular, pinched face opened the door, her black hair in a tight bun.
What do you want at this hour?
She snapped. Fenrir glanced at Tor, and the boy shook his head. Fenrir then said,
You see, we have been investigating the murders and would like to ask you some questions. We may also ask to have a look around.
She tried to slam the door, but Fenrir stuck his foot in it. She fled into her home and returned behind her husband.
What are you doing here, Saltblood?
I, as captain of the City Watch, am here to investigate the recent murders. Mind if I enter?
What do you need, Captain?
The man said, his face suddenly docile. Then it contorted in pain, and he yelped. He growled at his wife as she glared back at him, a needle glinting redly in her hand. I would like to enter and ask some questions, my good man. It is cold out here.
Of course.
The man backed into the home, watching his wife. Within, it is easy to see that the home is of a seamstress. The conclusion was clear. Does this look familiar? Fenrir asked, holding a torn piece of cloth from the murderer's cloak.
Ugh, that, the woman snarled. That was from some little scamp wanting the thing repaired. It was an absolute mess.
Who brought it to you?
That girl Alice always thought she was off.
Thank you. After returning to the inn, Raphael retreated to try and recover from his horrid condition. Unfortunately, the stomach pains could not be voided by emptying his bowels. Elidas prayed, asking 3 questions. Is Alice a murderer?
No.
Have we spoken to the culprit?
Yes.
Did Severix commit any of the murders we are investigating?
Yes.
At midnight, does Severix have non-witch accomplices?
No.
Then they slept. In a dark wood, on a cloudless night, Elidas ran alone. A great shadow crashed behind him. downed sticks caught on his feet as he tried to flee. Branches catch his clothes and clawed at his flesh. The shadow bellowed, crashing into view. The bull moose's antlers haven't lost the layer of skin they grew with. It hung ragged as Elidas ran. He scrabbled over logs and bounded off of rocks, yet the beast grew near, its legs elongate, its ribs bleeding through. The skin peels off of its skull and it growls as drool slathers from its mouth. Then it caught Elidas, and he woke in a sweat. He found later that both Raphael and Molara had been plagued by the same dream. The next day, the players plan on confronting Sevrix. Feeling cornered and called out in this foreign land, Guinevere left for some fresh air.